All right, we're back with Justin Kahn, CEO and co-founder of Atrium. Go check out atrium.co. They provide legal services to everybody. It's aimed at, we'll talk about journaling in a second, but let's talk about Atrium. You, like me, have gotten those legal bills.
It's like
that
Russian
PDF.
roulette. Yeah, when you open that.
Yep. You open the PDF and
you don't know what's going to happen. It could be dangerous.
Sometimes you see it, it's like $1,200. You're like, yes.
Yeah, like you won the slot. Yeah, it's like you won the lottery when it's $1,200.
Yes. And then other times you open it and it's
like $20,000 and you're like, what happened?
What just happened
to me?
It's like when you're at the club.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, they bring the thing.
They bring the thing and you're like, who ordered?
Yeah, there's 2
bottles of Cristal on my bill, and it's $8,000.
And then they're like 20% gratuity, auto included, and you want
$1,600
additional gratuity, and there's a line there. It feels bad,
right? And you're in the club at 4 a.m, and
you're like, I have to pay now. I have to pay,
right.
And I just want to go home. That's exactly like opening your legal bills.
That's how Atrium came about. Exactly. Popping bottles at the club and then not being.
I opened my legal bill at One Oak, and then boom.
It
was like. No, I can't.
I've been here for 3 hours.
I can't do this.
It cost
anymore.
me $3,000 an hour to be here.
Yes, that's exactly.
I'm thinking about the $50 per minute price of being in this club. Was it worth $50 per minute?
Yes.
No, it wasn't.
That's exactly right. And so my experience with legal was that it was always random, like playing. When I opened legal bills, I didn't understand it. Experienced entrepreneurs were like, no, you should just cross off 20% of the things and send it back. And I was like, that's a way you're supposed to buy things. And then I always felt the service was really excellent sometimes. Like there were moments at Justin TV where we had such excellent lawyers who helped us through these very trying moments. And we were like, I really respect this person's expert advice. And then there were other times when we would email and get no response. Mm-hmm. And so I always wondered, why is there such an inconsistent delivery of services, and why isn't this entire why do these law firms that serve the biggest technology companies in the world, they don't use any technology themselves? Like we had right before I started Atrium, I had incubated this company called Alto, which is a verticalized pharmacy for it's like a startup pharmacy. And
I took a look at that. How's that doing?
We're doing good, really good. Yeah, expanded to across Southern California as well.
Nice.
It's growing pretty well. Fertility is a big market for the pharmacy.
You were right there again with that one, because now you look, there's all these like direct to consumer, get your Propecia, get your Viagra. They want to sponsor. One of these wanted to sponsor the podcast. They're like
Roman.
Who knows? And because every time we take a sponsor, I have to.
You have to be like, I have to believe it. I use Roman every day. And let me tell you,
right now, I can't stand up. It's literally like, they're like, would you talk about chewable Viagra? And I'm like, there's chewable Viagra?
Yeah.
I'm like, how much do I get as part of the sponsorship endorsement?
Yeah. And now what are you paying in kind, or are you paying cash?
I'm Jason Calacanis for chewable Viagra. It's amazing. Bubblicious.
So yeah, pharmacy is blown up.
Yeah.
But anyways, we had
Atrium.
incubated this company. They just raised a $17 million Series B, but the problem was it took forever, and the company was like threading the needle on cash. Oof. And so the whole time I was texting the CEO. I'm like, "What's going on?" And he was like, "I don't know. It's with this lawyer or this lawyer. It's with, somewhere in the process." And then I sat down with this lawyer randomly, who's a partner at Wilson Sonsini, and I asked her. She was a friend of a friend. We just randomly happened to meet up, and I was asking her, why don't you guys use Asana or Trello or some sort of project management so people can see what's going on? And she was like, well, it's hard to get people to adopt it internally, and we don't want to pay for it. Like, you build $1,000 an hour. How can you not afford Trello? What is Trello? $40 a month or something?
I was an investor in Trello. It's nothing. And we use Asana now, and it's nothing.
Right.
And in fact, Asana is so free that there was no reason for us to pay for it.
Right. Yeah.
And they came to me, and I was
like, too free.
It's too free. And I was like, what does the paid version get you? And they're like, oh, maybe private boards. I'm like, well, why would we have a private board? Like, in time, a 15-person company. And I was like, what does it cost? It's like $1,500 for the year. I was like, pay them.
Yes.
I want to pay them because I want the service to continue.
Yeah.
Like, let's get the pro account even if we don't need it. I did the same thing with Grammarly.
Yeah.
I was like, let's pay for Grammarly even if we don't need to. Like, if the premium version doesn't have enough
Exactly.
features.
It's like a charity. It's like when you're tipping, like on what's that, like earn.com or whatever that one, the short-term loan thing is, where it survives entirely on tips. Right.
It's just like, they used to call it, there was a category of software, shareware.
Yes.
This was like the egalitarian, like, pay what you think.
Yeah. It's like those albums that you can download and you pay whatever. It's like a dollar or $20 or whatever.
Pay what you can. It's like yoga class. Like pay what you. That's how yoga started in America. You know, that was the business model. Was they would just put a bowl in the front and say, "Pay what you can." It was the honor system.
That makes. I mean, I think that more stuff should operate like that.
I tried it at Equinox. They were like, "No." They were like, "We have to sign a 3-year contract for $170 a month."
Yeah.
So anyway, you get the legal bill.
So I was talking to this lawyer, and I was like, why don't you, build something that why don't you improve your services over time? Why don't you spend time operationalizing them, building software, et cetera? And their law firms are just, it turns out they're not set up in America to do that.
Yeah.
They're some of the oldest institutions in America. Some of the oldest companies in San Francisco are law firms. And so they're just not set up to actually improve over time. And we felt like by building a technology company and we could build something that was substantially different. And so that was the idea behind Atrium. It started about 18 months ago as a partnership between a law firm run by my legal co-founders, Augie Rako, and then we partnered with a technology company that we all started and raised a bunch of money into.
That's an interesting way to start it. So you found a boutique law firm that had how many attorneys?
Well, so Augie basically left and started a boutique law firm.
Got it.
He was a partner at Oric, and then we partnered together with this like technology company that kind of runs all of the tech and a bunch of like.
And so if somebody
services.
uses it, is it cheaper, better, faster? What's the value proposition of Atrium?
Absolutely. So everything is like quote upfront pricing, so that you always know what you're going to pay. It's a flat rate for the kind of basic services that
such
are
as
corporate transactional services. So all like things like issuing equity to your employees, board meetings, like doing any sort of like normal day-to-day corporate transactional work. And then if you
is that the same cost as if you use Wilson or Fenwick or
the idea is to model the same cost, but to do it in a fixed pricing subscription way. And then afterwards, if you have like projects, so you're Series A financing, Series B financing, you're selling your company, whatever it is, we'll do quote upfront pricing for those projects.
Yeah,
we basically hired a bunch of attorneys from all these law firms that that you would normally use in Silicon Valley, like Wilson or Cooley, et cetera. And so the idea is there's kind of that component. We're building technology to streamline the delivery of services. It's everything from workflow software, project management software. Honestly, it's not rocket science. It's stuff that you think should exist already. And,
I mean, they use document management. Where they can pop up a form and do. Because actually, my first job when I was in New York was installing PC Docs and Soft Solutions, which were like layers on top of Microsoft Word or WordPerfect to just do versioning, because versioning wasn't built into those things at the time in the 90s.
Yeah.
It's crazy when you think about it.
And then we've started to build a bunch of ML software to understand documents and then turn them into structured data. So basically we want to understand the world of first startup documents, eventually the rest of kind of the universe of documents, turn them into structured data and understand exactly like basically all of the documents that exist for our clients. We want to be able to turn them into like a data layer, and then on top of that, build workflow apps that enable you to do legal work much more quickly.
Well, if you think about it like a video game, and like what Sam's doing with OpenAI, beating, what is it, Dota, the game they play?
Yeah, Dota.
Like they beat Dota players, right, or whatever. Or they beat StarCraft players, and then DeepMind at Google beat Go, and they've obviously Deep Blue beat chess a long time ago. If you just look at legal services, corporate legal services, if you had the corpus of all the data and you put a bunch of AI machine learning people on it, you could solve the game of legal. Is that what you're doing? You're solving the game of legal?
I think, there's always going to be, a lot of people come in and say, oh, you're replacing attorneys, and that's not the goal. The goal has always been, let's get the best attorneys and enable them to do the things that they love to do, which is advising clients. That's the thing that I got the most value of as a client. All this stuff behind the scenes, like drafting the first version of documents or, like recalling data and accessing data, that stuff can be done in a substantially faster way. And that's what we're trying to do. So really put the attorney front and center and enable them to be more efficient and advise better.
Is there an arbitrage going on by geography as well? I mean, as you and I both know, this town has just gone bonkers in terms of real estate and cost.
There may be an anti-arbitrage for us because we are based in San Francisco.
I know. That's bonkers. I heard you have over 100 people in San Francisco.
That's right.
Why not open an office in like a no state tax Austin or Seattle or Nevada where attorneys can live for 1/3 the price.
I think eventually that might be something we do. I really think it's important. Right now, our customers the clients are in San Francisco, and also, it's kind of in those early days. You're still building culture. It's really important, I think, to have people in the same place. But eventually, that would be a goal.
That is interesting. Have you ever run a remote company? Or do you not believe in that?
No, I believe in it. My problem actually with remote is that more myself. I think I don't work as good without showing up to an office.
Me too.
I don't think I'm as disciplined. So I actually respect the guys who do run remote companies a tremendous amount. And I think I would love to get there. There's probably some kind of habits and disciplines I got to build for myself to do that.
But there hasn't been like a $10 billion remote working company yet. So I wonder if it's possible to build to a certain level, but there's something about people coming to an office every day about building a culture. It does seem like it works remote, but I don't know if it's going to create the outsized return.
I think technology is just getting to the place where remote works, right? So you haven't had a $10 billion remote company yet because you haven't, like those companies, the technology didn't exist to make those companies
10 years ago,
right?
That makes sense.
Because you need Slack, you need
really good web conferencing.
Really good web conferencing. If the web conferencing is annoying, then that's like, that
Death.
kills it, right? And then you need the culture and the discipline of doing regular meetings, bringing everybody together once every quarter or whatever. I do think that there's a lot of stuff that you need to kind of have to do.
Yeah,
that didn't exist. The technology and the cultural technology didn't exist before, I think.
I continue to be flabbergasted by how poorly web conferencing still works and how
it has gotten better.
It's gotten better, but you know what the big issue is? Humans insist on not plugging in Ethernet cables. Yeah. And I have an office in Toronto with 3 employees now because we're doing the arbitrage ourselves because it's literally 2 for 1 in Toronto.
Yep.
And you can pay people really well because of the currency exchange and the cost of living is a third. And I'm just like, please put an Ethernet cable in and use a proper headset with a stick microphone like you're landing a plane.
Yeah.
And when you do those 2 things, Ethernet, and you turn off your Wi-Fi on your laptop and you have that stick microphone, it actually works.
Yeah. Who knew?
I'm like, just run the Wi-Fi over Ethernet.
Hashtag technology.
Hashtag technology. But I'm running 2 different companies. I have Inside where it's remote.
Yep.
And then I have Launch where it's not. And I'm trying to figure out like which is the right model. I'm torn.
I don't know. I wish it was better remote and like kind of understood it more. And I think eventually Atrium will get there at least as a multi-office company. It's going to have to be. So you're going to have some of that discipline.